So as you can see, most of the nation here will be a little bit warm, not too crazy warm. There will be some breeze throughout the nation, and I'm getting a report that the Automotive State of the Union is coming through to you right now.
My fellow automotive Americans, there's a time where everyone who works behind the camera needs to come in front of that camera, and that time is now.
Welcome to the Automotive State of the Union. Today, we shine a spotlight on the incredible men behind the camera who are dedicated to sharing their passion for the automotive world. With a mission statement that resonates deeply, love people more than you love cars, these talented individuals capture not just the vehicles, but the stories, emotions, and connections that make our automotive community thrive. Join us as we celebrate their vision, creativity, and commitment to putting people first in every frame. Buckle up for another unforgettable ride on the Driving Relationships Podcast.
3, 2, 1.
Quiet on the set, take 73.
All right, so I am here with Jordan and Nathan from ASOTU. Now, Jordan and Nathan, you guys are like the brains, the operation of like videoing everything, right? And Jordan's been here before. He was here for our Black Friday event, which was super cool. You came back, you saw the Plinko board. You were like, dude, what's going on here?
That's right.
What are you guys out here doing?
Nathan, take it from here.
Oh, man. So, man, where do I start? It's really hard to kind of explain what we do because we do a lot. But I think the biggest thing that I would say that that we do is we are trying to make content to help auto dealers be better auto dealers. So whether that's news and insights through a daily email, whether that's podcasts that are recurring and like push deeper into the industry and say, what are the problems that we're facing and how are we fixing them? Whether that's man on the street interview content that we do where we like walk out and we go up to just random people on the street and be like, hey, where'd you buy your last car? Was it a dealership? What'd you think of the dealership? Would you ever drive an EV? Like stuff like that, right? All of it's about helping the auto dealer ultimately do what's on the shirt. And
Yeah, what does your shirt say?
Mine, well, they all say love people more than you love cars. And that's our core thesis, right? It's the idea that it's a principle that, like, first is bigger than the automotive industry, right? You can say love people more than blank.
Yeah.
And we believe that if you do that, your business and your life will be better for it.
Absolutely.
Right.
How did that come about?
This is actually a funny story. So I wasn't there. I wasn't there at the time, but a while ago, our two founders, Paul and Kyle, were trying to encapsulate what we were trying to do. So like what we're trying to do really is elevate the perception of auto dealers, both inside the industry and outside of it. And we do that inside the industry by identifying great auto groups and great retailers and great GMs and great salespeople and great porters and like just identify the greatness and elevate it and say, hey, look, rest of the industry, here it is. But we also want to do that by constantly speaking good about the industry, recognizing that there's bad and saying that there is bad, but elevating the good, not focusing on like, here's what you shouldn't do, focus on here's what you should do, right? A positive spin rather than a negative spin. And it's been really hard it was really hard in the early days to encapsulate that into like a phrase, right?
I bet.
Like, it's like, well, we're pushing back against the negative stigma. Well, and nothing really sounded good. And so Paul and Kyle were doing an event in the end of 2021, I think it was, and they reached out to like all the dealers that they knew and people who were in our community and said, hey, could you try to like write up what ASOTU is about in like a sentence or two? And Liza Borchus of the Carter Myers Auto Group.
When you don't know the answer, just crowdsource it, baby.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
So Liza Borchus of the Carter Myers Automotive Group, they might be the best dealership to work for in America.
Besides Roman.
Yeah, I was gonna say Roman Toyota is pretty solid.
No, Roman is a shining example. That's just how good CMA is that CMA is like the top of the top.
The pinnacle.
The pinnacle, right?
Other than Roman Toyota.
If we were doing power rankings, CMA 1.
We'd be a 1 seed, 2 seed. We'd be fighting for it a little bit.
Can we just say top 10?
Top 10. Yeah, for sure.
But she wrote down love people more than you love cars.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it just very simply and easily sums up what we're trying to do, right? And what we're trying to encourage the industry to do. Because when the industry loves people more than they love cars, their perception will be elevated.
But that's got to be so hard. I mean, this is a business that loves profit, right?
Yeah.
And the Roman organization, I've heard them say it's people, process, profit. And it's always people before profit. Whatever it is, it's always the people, right? And I actually saw a picture of Ryan yesterday with one of your guys' shirts.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that is so cool to have leaders get involved with having the aspect of loving people more than cars. Like, how hard is it to find companies that truly do love people more than cars, or is it easy?
I think it's easy because it's you see these good operators rise to the top, and we're out here doing pre-production for our docuseries More Than Cars, and people who don't know that, they can check out morethancars.tv to see that series, and we go around and we want to feature the top dealers on that series. Roman was on the list, and really it was Ryan that came back and said, we want to be a part of this.
Wow.
Right.
And to put a nice bow on him holding up that shirt on Sunday with love people more than you love cars and getting a picture with that, it just puts a nice bow on everything. Like yes, we already were coming out here. Yes, we're bringing the shirt, whatnot. But to just continue showing that he's so bought into his people and he cares for his employees and he wants his employees to care for his customers. And it's all about community on so many different levels. Man, it's so easy to find the good operators.
Oh, I bet.
It is. It's a lot more common than you'd think, and
That's a good way to put it.
it's just that the stigma is so out there.
It's
right?
been lingering for so many years.
It's just sitting there under the surface, right? And so we have a hard road ahead of us, like to say, hey, world, car dealers aren't who you think they are.
Yeah. And I've always heard the saying perception is reality, right? But
Yeah. Oh, sure.
how do people get a new perception when that's been ingrained in them for so long?
Well, that's
Right?
that's one of the
Generations.
premises. That's one of the premises of the docuseries, right? So, to talk marketing terms for a bit, we see the More Than Cars docuseries as a brand build for the automotive industry,
Okay.
right? How familiar are you with F1?
Not very.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen it here and there, but
Sure.
not a fan.
So F1 a while back, probably 3 or 4 years ago, was starting to struggle. Right.
Okay.
They were doing well in Europe, but they weren't doing well in America at all, and were just couldn't hit that next level. Like they were fine, but they weren't like thriving.
Okay.
And they decided to go all in on a docuseries called Drive to Survive.
I did see that.
That's on
Yep.
Netflix, right?
I have seen that.
Right? And it's, for those who haven't seen it, it's like a 10 or 12 episode a season show that takes you through the whole year. You're following stories, you're meeting drivers, you're meeting like the people who are behind the drivers, right? Like the owners and the technicians and the reporters, and you're starting to understand that this isn't just a car race.
Right.
This is like something more than that, more than cars. But they do that deal with Netflix. People start watching it, and the popularity, I wish I had the numbers, but the popularity of F1, especially in America, has exploded.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh yeah. After that. Yeah.
After that, like,
absolutely.
like I'm a sports fan. Like prior to that, the sports sites that I would read wouldn't cover F1. Now it's like a big thing that they do because there is a market for it. But that brand build for them, like, changed their reputation and elevated them to that next level. That's what we believe not on that much of a level.
That's
for
still
sure.
really, yeah, it's
But, like,
relatable though.
But that's what we think that More Than Cars can be for the automotive industry. It's a brand build. It's a play to say, hey, here's good people doing good things. World, look at it, and the more people that watch it and look at it, you want to be around people that you like, right? And for better or worse, you're also influenced by what you watch. I mean, how many people have gone to a restaurant because they saw it on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives?
Oh, I bet a ton.
Right. I had the realization when we were editing one of the episodes for season 1. I was like, someday someone is going to watch this show on a streaming platform and then go buy a car at that place from that person because they saw it on here.
That would be wild. That would be full circle, wow.
But that's I can't say that's happened yet, but I know that it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just that excites me, right?
That's so cool.
That's what we're doing. This brand build for automotive to push back and say, no, look, here's what you can expect when you go into a dealership. Here's the type of people that are there.
Wow.
Here's the stories.
Wow. That's cool. Now, you both brought up the docuseries thing. Where can people find this at?
Oh, super easy. So anytime we talk about this, we always talk about More Than Cars. That's the name of the series. MoreThanCars.tv is the best way to see it.
Okay.
That has all of the released episodes out there. There are going to be a few other places they're going to be able to find it soon. Man, some big announcements coming on where we're going to be distributing that.
Some big announcements. Now,
that's right.
You both are usually behind the camera, so this is a little bit different for you. But
Jordan,
I have
Jordan
to
more
ask,
out in front of the camera.
Yeah, I see Jordan.
But
on
normally
there
I still press
occasionally.
record. That's the thing.
Exactly. What is the most memorable story from each of you from a dealership that you've been at that just makes you go back and say, man, I'm really glad that I do what I do?
Nathan, you start.
Man. Season 1, episode 3 was at the Wester Auto dealership, and the Wester Auto Group. Sorry, so they're located in Buffalo. There's 30-something stores, so it's a really big privately owned group, and we told a lot of really cool stories there. But I think the coolest one for me was they have a technician training program. And let me back up. Their owner is getting up there in age, right? But still is actively involved in everything that he can be, whether it's visiting stores, whether it's making decisions. But he's also super involved in the community. So much so that he still goes to the Buffalo City Mission to just meet and talk to people.
Really?
This is the heart of Scott Beeler, the owner of the Wester Auto Group. And he's there, and he meets this guy, name's Leroy, and starts talking to Leroy. Leroy's in a tough spot. He's living there, and he says to Leroy, hey, we've got this tech training program. You should come out and do it, be a part of it. Leroy comes out as a part of it, does it. We get to interview him on camera.
Oh, that's cool.
It was so cool to see. But we come to find out there, because he went from making nothing to having a technician job, he has now out-qualified himself from any low-income housing. So he's still living at the city mission, even though he's had the job for 6 to 9 months at this point. Right?
Wow.
We discovered that in the course of our interview, and we were hanging out with their director of marketing, who was showing us around. And as soon as he found that out, he sent out a text and then came back and said, I just talked to the directors. We're going to cover his rent for a year. We're going to make it happen.
Oh, that is so cool.
Come to find out, after that, it was a little stinger at the end of the episode. His store manager went with him to 4 apartment showings until they found a good fit. They finally got one, covered the rent for a year, and the whole store furnished it for him. It was just it was super cool.
Dude, you're going to make me cry.
I know, right?
That's tough. That's cool.
Yeah. Those are the stories that we see all across this industry. The stories that people don't hear.
Right.
Right? Because the stories that you hear are the clickbaity ones where someone gets screwed or scammed, but you don't hear the story of hope and the story of redemption and the story of restoration that is at the core of what the automotive industry is doing.
Wow.
How am I going to top that one?
I don't know. Good luck.
The one that I always think of is I'm a huge sucker in a good way for the hero's journey. So someone goes through something that is causes them to grow. They try to respond to it. They don't know how. And then all of a sudden they find the right fit, and they are now the hero of their own life. And I kid you not, I tell your story all the time, Logan.
Do you really?
And you've even heard it on the live show. Then when we talked about that, because
Cut.
Yeah, that's right. Cut it.
Cut. Next
This is not
one.
making the final cut. Yeah. So, but what I think is cool is that there's someone that has the passion and the drive to be with people, to help people, to be on the right team. Someone like you who might feel like they're failing in certain roles, but then they get in the right role, they're working for the right person, and they flourish.
Yeah.
And you can walk in and you can see that energy go everywhere.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, I didn't know you when you were just doing sales or when you switched to service, but I can imagine there might have been this like look of defeat on your face when people like walked in to talk to you. And now, dude, I kid you not, we're walking around out there, you're like talking to everyone, what's up guys, what's up, what's up? And your energy is infectious because there's so much that comes from being fulfilled in your life and doing what you love doing.
Yeah.
So I kid you not, you're one of the stories I tell all the time. And and you don't have to look far to find stories just like that within automotive. It's really cool to see.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Did you know I was going to tell that story?
No, I didn't. I didn't know where that was going.
was not planned.
Yeah, that was not planned.
You didn't pay me to do that?
Yeah, right.
Wait, how much was it?
But that happens all the time. They're at the right place. They want to work there, and you feel like you're failing, and you feel like you're failing your team. But then you go to your team leader and you say, Zach, I like working for you. I like where I work, but I feel like I'm not doing what you want me to do, and I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. And Zach says, give me one more chance. Let me try. He puts a couple
Isn't that
quarters in your
wild?
pocket.
Yeah.
You go out and just talk to service customers. And that's just the next step to that process of finding what is so fulfilling in your life and what is purposeful. And it's just a balance of everything.
That's a really good way to put that. That's my own life, and I couldn't have put the words that well. That's crazy. All right, so to wrap this thing up, I'm going to ask you each one more question. Give me one word to describe the docuseries. One word.
I would go trying to figure out within 10 seconds. I'd say impact.
Ooh.
Impact.
Ooh, I like that.
And I wish I could elaborate, but you only said one word.
Yeah, one word, because they have to watch it to find out the rest, right?
Redemption, hope, and a lot of fun.
Wow.
I know that's sort of 3 words.
No, it's not. I mean, if you look at it, though, I mean, that's
5.
yeah. I can't count. I'm in the car business, so bear with me. But, I mean, just that alone, like, you guys having to process that just shows how much passion you guys have behind everything that you do. And obviously, we look forward to everything coming in the future, but thank you guys for coming by. And I know I'm not the normal host, but make sure to like, subscribe to the Driving Relationships podcast. We will be on YouTube and Spotify. We are now on Spotify, so make sure to check us
And
out.
shout out to the Roman group because they have been amazing hosts over the last couple days.
Thanks for having us.
It's been so much fun.
Thank you guys.
Top 10.